Hey everybody, welcome to Badass Rebel Vegan. Today we are live from the UK with Hench Herbivore and Gemma. They are cooking up something super, super delicious. It tastes naughty, but it isn't. Just, give us a little bit of information about what you're doing. Hey everybody, thank you so much.
Hey Jane, thanks for having us back on. Great to be with you again.
Yeah, thank you.
You're the maestro.
So this is a recipe from our cookbook. It is Carob Tahini and Raspberry Brownies.
That sounds so delicious. So show us a little bit about what goes into this amazing dessert, because it looks so incredibly indulgent, but it's actually pretty healthy. So how do we make this?
Yeah, so it's so simple, really. It's oat flour and carob powder, so 130 grams and 45 grams of carob powder. You could use cacao or cocoa powder if you prefer.
I guess it's for people who are caffeine sensitive. Carob makes a nice substitute, doesn't it?
Yeah, yes. We've got half a teaspoon of baking soda and a quarter teaspoon of baking powder and a pinch of salt, but that's optional, so you could just leave that out if you wanted to.
Now, is that called the same in America as it is in the UK?
You mean the baking powder?
Soda and powder?
Yeah.
It is?
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. That's good then. You're not awkward sometimes.
We are. We kind of do our own thing, right?
So we've got 200 grams of tahini. That's like the real star of the show here. It makes it really tasty and quite a unique taste as well, actually.
And it's just healthy sesame seeds ground up, isn't it? So
yeah.
It's good stuff.
We've got date syrup, 250 grams. So to make that, basically you just blend up 175 grams of dates with 250 grams of water until it's smooth. If you're going to keep it in the fridge for a while, just put a little lemon juice, and that preserves it for like a week or two. Whiz it up, and you have a sweetener that's super healthy.
That's great. And I read somewhere that date sugar is the only sugar that doesn't cause a spike in your blood sugar level. Is that correct? And Paul, because you're a nutritionist, right? So, date sugar is one of the healthiest.
Yeah, so date sugar is dried pulverized dates, so you keep in the fiber. Date syrup is just dates whizzed up with water. So again, you keep in the fiber. It's like a whole food, just with water. So slower burning.
Yeah, date sugar is the only sugar we used in the whole of the cookbook, the Healthy Desserts cookbook. So I was really pleased that we just had all healthy, whole food, ingredients.
Yeah.
I love this. And tell me just a little bit about your vegan stories, because this is super, super healthy. And you are vegan as well. There are people who are strictly plant-based, based on what they're eating, and there are people who are vegan for the animals. And I love that you're combining this, because you are vegan and you are both such a strong voice for the voiceless, and then you're also doing this amazing thing and showing people that they can be healthy and vegan. So tell me a little bit about what first inspired you both to go vegan. So Paul, maybe if you can share a little bit about your story first.
Just to interject, we did have one more ingredient.
Yes, show us.
Oh, sorry. So we have 125 grams of applesauce, unsweetened, a teaspoon of vanilla, and in the freezer we have 140 grams of frozen raspberries, but I'm just leaving those in there until we're at the time of combining everything together. Perfect.
I love that.
So that's that. So what's our story? You went whole foods plant-based before I did, so maybe it should be ladies first. So I have an autoimmune thyroid condition, and I was just really sick for so many years, and out of desperation, really, I was scouring the internet trying to figure out what can I do to help myself, because doctors don't seem to have any answers. They're saying you just take this pill for the rest of your life and that's it. And even though I've got all these symptoms, they're saying, well, your blood tests are fine, just carry on, and that didn't really feel good enough for me. And you were as sick as you can imagine,
so fatigued that I couldn't, really get out of bed and work. I just was exhausted. It was no life.
I tried to get Gemma to do a 10-minute walk just for the sake of her health to, get the blood pumping, but at times you couldn't, could you? And you were so depressed. It was so horrible.
So even doing a 10-minute walk was overwhelming, and the thought of working was overwhelming. So this was impacting your whole life.
Yeah, for sure. Every aspect of your thyroid regulates you, like your temperature, your mood, your metabolism, so many things. So when something's not going, right there, then you feel like a hypochondriac, because everything feels wrong, and I just stumbled upon the idea of a whole foods plant-based diet, and it seems like just, I don't know, magical to me now that I stumbled upon this. If I hadn't, my life would look so different right now. That's if it was even here, There's this doctor saying, eat a whole foods plant-based diet. You need to have low fat, not high fat, because this doctor put me on a high fat, low carb diet, and I hated it. And this guy saying, no, eat lots of like juicy fruits and grains and keep the fat low and cut out the animal products. And I just thought, well, I haven't got anything to lose because this isn't working for me. So I tried it, and within 1 week, I had more energy than I'd had in years. The turnaround for me was really quick. I got so much better so quick. And then each year on year, I've got better and better. It's just been amazing.
I love that.
So good to see.
I love that.
When your partner is suffering, you feel just hopeless and helpless, and it's just the worst, But it was night and day, the turnaround, Jane. Night and day. It was amazing.
And how quickly was that turnaround? Because it seems like, once people stumble upon, especially being whole food plant-based, even going vegan will help things. But when it comes to health, really going whole food plant-based, that is something that is absolutely phenomenal from a health standpoint. How quickly, Gemma, did you notice the turnaround in your health?
Well, from where I was, within about a week, I had more energy than I'd had in years, but it still took, years from there to get to a place of feeling really, really great. And don't get me wrong, I still have fatigue sometimes, but it's not an everyday occurrence. It's not my life, So from where I was to where I got to within a week, it felt incredible because of how bad I was. But, some people go whole food plant-based and they reverse some kind of illnesses and they feel amazing immediately, and they feel that way forever. And it wasn't quite like that for me, but I think that's because I was so sick, not just with my thyroid, but also with trauma as well, which I've worked on in counselling. And mental and emotional trauma affects the body too, so I'm recovering in 2 different ways now. But each year that I stay whole foods, I notice like, oh, yeah, last year I had this symptom and now I don't have that anymore. It's like they're falling away, all the symptoms that I did have. It's really good. And
it's just keeping clean, eating the right foods, and like you say, doing the work with a counsellor.
Minimising stress,
doing the meditation.
Sleeping. Yeah.
And I love that you said that, because, a lot of times people think, oh gosh, if I, there's no magical cure for anything, right? So there's a lot of work that's involved. And so, nutrition and fitness and overall well-being, it's not just the physical body that we're talking about. It's physical, it's emotional, it's mental, it's spiritual, it's all these things together. And so, Gemma, I love your story because, this shows that, there's a lot of work that needs to be done from an emotional standpoint when we're talking about healing, and we're talking about emotional trauma that can cause physical symptoms and physical, issues. Not that that's the only thing, but, that causes this, but it has such an impact on us. And so doing that amount of healing is absolutely amazing. And I love your story. I love that you are vulnerable enough and strong enough at the same time to share that, because it isn't easy to talk about all the time. But you do share this, and it's inspiring so many people to take care of themselves. So, and I know, Hench, you went vegan, you went whole food plant-based first, and now both of you are, vegan, like you're activists for the animals too. So just tell people a little bit about your story as well, and kind of what inspired you to first go plant-based, right? Whole food plant-based.
Yeah, so I was eating 500 grams of animal protein every day. Being a bodybuilder, I thought I need to eat as much protein as possible. The more I can eat, the bigger I get. Of course, the only protein that counts comes from animals, because that's what we're sold. And I was eating more animal protein than anyone I've ever met. And then researching, nutrition for health, Gemma stumbled across these kind of studies and things, particularly like the China study, where they study people in China, and they showed that the more animal products they eat in the different villages, the more chronic diseases of affluence that they got, heart disease, cancer, diabetes. And she just said to me, like, she looked really frightened and she said, "You need to change." And then I read the data and I was really frightened, and I thought, wow, I'm going to drop dead tomorrow if I keep going this way. Like, it was terrifying to me. The real thing that sold it to me was in the China study, and there was a graph, and it had rich countries on this end, like America, etc., and then down the far end, poorer countries, Laos, Cambodia, Thailand. The green lines, it was a bar chart, it was percentage of whole plant foods in the diet. It's nearly 100% in the poor countries. Down to America, it said 6%. And then the red lines were deaths from cancer, heart disease, diabetes, and it was a total inverse relationship. And I thought, wow, I eat more animals than anyone I know. Like, I was scared, you know, but I thought I'm a bodybuilder. There weren't many, like 8.5 years ago, there wasn't so many people online like your Patrick Babunians and your Nimai Delgados and your Jahina Maliks. You know, my whole self-esteem was like based around how big and strong and muscly I was. So it was a bit scary, but I kept the protein high. I ate 5 servings of animal products per week because I thought, we have been eating animals. Is there something in there that we need? You know, we've been eating them historically. And I found it was nothing but a boost to my training. Over a few months, I lost the taste for fish and for meat.
You kept them in for a short time at first, didn't you?
Yeah.
And then you reread the China study and you were like,
Yeah.
what am I doing? Like,
I didn't like the taste of it anymore, and I thought, why am I doing this to myself? The science, I saw that we get, you know, essential nutrients from plants, or we get precursors from plants that we, like the animals we eat, make into the animal versions of these nutrients. And I was all in, and I never looked back, you know, and then accidentally I saw what we do to animals for them to end up on our plates, and I was devastated. I couldn't believe that I was complicit in that, you know, how we just treat animals like dirt, like a commodity, you know, when they're thinking, feeling sentient, you know, they want love and affection, you know, they run from violence, they scream under the knife just the same as we do. And I saw that, and that's why I'm here right now.
And that's really, really powerful, because I think, you know, a lot of times, you know, some people go vegan first for the animals. That was my story. So it didn't resonate with me to really eat animals. And I was like, you know, what am I doing? I need to, you know, how can we love this one and then have this one on our dinner plates? And seeing that, you know, with animal rescue, being involved with that, I would see not just dogs and cats come into rescue, but I would see cows and chickens and turkeys and sheep and goats and, you know, all these animals that, you know, some of whom would end up on the dinner plate, right? And so it was this thought process of, okay, these animals want love. Like you were saying, Paul, they want love and affection. They actually come up to you. All they want from you is love. That's what they're looking for. And what are we doing? Why am I contributing to harming these animals that are capable of thinking and feeling the same emotions we do? So they can feel, you know, love. They form families that we're tearing apart. So they're capable of showing more compassion, I think, than a lot of people show each other. So why am I contributing to this? This doesn't align with who I am. So I stopped that first, was eating animals and animal products. I was done with that. The health benefits, I actually stumbled upon accidentally. So I think it's really, really amazing to hear your stories, because it's really important to celebrate, I think, every journey that gets people to this point, because whether you go vegan for the animals first and then stumble upon, okay, there's something to these health benefits. For me, it's my chronic asthma went away. Mm-hmm. And it was this huge light bulb of, there's got to be more to this than just being about the animals. So it is about the animals. I'll never go back because of the animals, but is this also good for me? Is this also healthy? Yes, as it turns out, it is. But when it comes to, you know, people's journey going, you know, whole food plant-based first, it's like once you have animals off of your plate, making that connection. So like you are so liberated from the weight of eating other sentient beings that you're able to make that connection. Yeah. And the guilt is no longer there. The only guilt is not going vegan sooner, right? Yeah. So this is amazing. And I love that both of you have experienced, you know, so many health benefits. I mean, Paul, obviously, I mean, you're you're so muscular. I mean, like, I was just going to flex, and then I realized that was going to look really silly because I'm a runner. I'm not a bodybuilder. So It just is not the same. And Gemma, having so many health benefits, I absolutely love this. And for you sharing your story, because I think people really do need to understand that it is so important to take care of our health as well. And when it comes to being animal rights activists, which so many of us are, listen, we've got to show up for ourselves first so that we can stand up for the animals to the best of our ability. So let's get to some of this food, because I just love the fact that we are able to take food and we're able to, make something so incredibly delicious and delectable, something that tastes so naughty, right? I mean, when you bite into something and it's so good, and then you know what the added bonus is? It's super freaking healthy. So, I mean, it's vegan, and all of in your recipe book, everything is gluten-free, right?
Yes.
Which is amazing, because I have a gluten allergy. It's really severe. I lose days if I eat anything with gluten in it. So, I mean, this is huge for me. Vegan, gluten-free, whole food, plant-based. So the animals are safe. People with gluten allergies are safe, and this is healthy. I love this. So let's get to it. Show us what you do to make this amazing dessert.
Okay, well, it couldn't really be any simpler. So we're going to put the carob and the oat flour. So basically, how a lot of desserts are, you want to blend the dry ingredients all together, and then you want to blend the wet ingredients, and then you mix both together. It's basically that easy.
Even I could do it. No. I can lift weights up and down, and that's about it.
Well, you can lift weights with one arm and do this with the other, maybe, if Gemma held the bowl for you.
Yeah, I've got some dumbbells now because of the lockdown.
Right. Yeah, we are too. And I love this, Gemma, because this is something that you could do with children. I have a 4-year-old daughter, and we could actually make this together because it's really simple. She loves to mix things together. So, I mean, I could let her do this. And the great thing, right, when you're cooking, vegan, is that you don't have to worry about your kid licking the spoon, because you're not dealing with eggs or anything raw like that that's going to cause any type of issues. So you just put all the wet ingredients together. How much of the vanilla extract did you put in there?
Oh, about a teaspoon.
About a teaspoon.
I eyeballed it. You don't have to be too precise really with that in this recipe.
The beauty of vanilla extract, right? You don't have to be super precise with it.
Yeah. But really with this book, my aim was really to make it simple ingredients that you're likely to have already in your house, and just easy. I like cooking, but I can't be bothered with books where it's 3 pages for one recipe and it's a million steps, and it takes hours. I wanted everything to be really simple. So I sort of hope that that's what I've managed, with this.
And simple ingredients as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that, because you don't feel guilty, having a treat like this. I mean, this is something you can eat and you feel good afterwards. You don't feel guilty, which I love. And I think it's really important for people to be able to treat themselves and to have something really tasty and sweet. If you have a sweet tooth, because so many people deal with sugar addiction when they're getting off of, we call it the standard American diet, but when you're getting off of the eating, any type of food with animal products in it, right? It's so addicting. There's a lot of processed food, a lot of sugar. And so, treating yourself to something that is sweet but good for you really helps to kick that sugar addiction, because you're satisfying your sweet tooth with something healthy. So I always tell people, eat, if you're wanting something sweet, eat a piece of fruit, like some watermelon is great, or something like that. So you're satisfying your sweet tooth without being, filling your body with processed foods. Now this though takes it even a step further, because it's so healthy and it's something that, is so decadent. So all of that is mixed together. What happens after that?
I'm just getting the raspberries out of the freezer. If you use frozen raspberries, then when you fold them in, they don't all kind of go to mush like fresh raspberries would. So I'm just going to hold a few back for the top. So I've got 140 grams here. Just going to...
140 total?
Yeah, sorry, 140 total. I'm just going to mix those in.
So about 2/3 in there, would you say?
Yeah, that's right. And we're done. We're just going to put it into a pan and top it with some more raspberries.
That's perfect. And I love your tip about using frozen raspberries, because sometimes frozen fruits and vegetables get a bad rap. And I feel like people don't understand sometimes that you can use frozen fruits and vegetables just fine. They're good for you. Don't worry about it. And there are some benefits, like you said, when you're folding them into a batter like this. If you're using fresh raspberries, they're just going to crush and crumble. Not that there's anything wrong with that, because you're going to get the flavor. But if you want them to actually hold together a little bit, frozen works a lot better.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's an amazing tip. Thank you for sharing that, because when people see recipes sometimes, or they see pictures of food, they want to know how you kept it all together. And this is part of that. This is just fantastic. So you have parchment paper, right, underneath?
Yeah, so the whole book, there's no oil, so you don't have to grease pans or anything like that. Because, oils is not healthy for us. And when it's so easy to not use it, like, why use it, So parchment paper works really great. And then you just smooth it down. And so when it comes out, you can see this one I've already made. It will just peel off the paper really easily.
I love that. Parchment paper is my friend. I use that for potatoes because I cook whole food, plant-based, no oil. So parchment paper is something I use pretty frequently for anything I bake, because you don't want it sticking to the pan, but I'm not going to use oil either. So parchment paper is great, and you can get compostable parchment paper. So that's something people don't necessarily know, and it's fantastic. So it's not, you're not adding to waste, right? This is compostable. It's fantastic. So those raspberries look so great. So you're putting those on the top, just, for added flavor, and it looks so beautiful.
Yeah, just trying to make it look nice at the end.
Instagrammable.
Instagrammable. I love that. I love that so much.
Yeah, just press them in, and that's it. And it goes in the oven, 180 degrees for 18 minutes, and you're good.
That's 180 degrees.
Oh, Celsius. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So that's amazing. So when it comes out, and you said for 15 minutes, right?
18 minutes.
18 minutes. I'm sorry, 18 minutes. And so when it comes out, this looks incredible. So, I do have a bone to pick with the two of you. So the thing is, I do a lot of things. I have a lot of skills. One of the many skills I possess is that I'm a fantastic taste tester. And this whole time with your cookbook, you never reached out to ask me to be a taste tester for any of these desserts. I'm very, very upset about that.
I kept scoffing them all day. I'm really sorry. I kept scoffing them.
I'll just get them and I'll give them a chop.
This looks so good. And this is something, honestly, we could make in our house, because we have all of these ingredients already. These are whole food, plant-based, simple ingredients. So this is a dessert. It looks like it took you hours to make this dessert, but it didn't. This is so simple. So how did you come up with these recipes? Because this is something that anybody would love. So, and it's really important, I think, to note that non-vegans would eat this and love it, because if you can reach people through their stomachs, that is huge. Oh my gosh, look at this. Oh my gosh, that looks so good. That looks so good. Okay, now Paul, are you gonna taste test, or Gemma? Who's gonna taste test?
I actually had all my calories, but I will have another bite for the Jane Unchained Network.
Let's both have a bite, shall we?
I love that. Yeah. So to have a bite of that, tell me how it is. I'm going to live vicariously through you for a moment here.
So good. It's really like gooey and fudgy inside.
It's an unusual texture, isn't it?
It's so soft.
Really, like Jane said, like decadent.
I love that.
So, when you take them out of the oven, you want to let them cool, then for as long as it takes to cool, like half an hour to an hour. And then you want to put them in the fridge for like 3 to 4 hours. That's the best way to make these turn out with the best texture. They turn out really soft and fudgy and
that is really fudgy.
Delicious. It's hard to not eat the whole lot of that.